Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a special fifth Thursday presentation on successful job searches focusing on these four areas. I'm currently in Chicago at the AMCP conference. So there's people here watching in person, and we've got people watching on Facebook and watching on Zoom all over the place. So thank you for being with us today. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions, please enter your questions into the Zoom chat window. For those people watching on Facebook, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just put them into the comment field. I'm monitoring both feeds. Just please note that I will answer all the questions at the end of, I will check the chat at the end of each little section here. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, as I'm not able to hear if you were to unmute your mic and play your mic back. Please note this event is being recorded. It's currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the CareerDFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window do not appear in the recording. And you are welcome to put in your networking comments if you'd like to network with each other and talk with other people so you can expand your network. Please feel free to put in your contact information in the chat window. So we're going to talk about the successful job searches focus on these four areas. So give me just a second to load the presentation up. Okay, so my background, I've got over 20 years experience in light manufacturing. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. Back in 2008, I created CareerDFW, a 501c3 not-for-profit for those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon. In 2012, I was invited to go to the White House Forum on Job Clubs and Career Ministries. It was sponsored by the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. In 2012, I created CareerUSA.org. CareerDFW and Career USA were a 501c3 not-for-profit. We have no full or part-time employees. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 13 years has been as a volunteer. We also have LinkedIn groups. You're welcome to join the Career USA or Career DFW LinkedIn groups. You do not need to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the Career DFW group. If you do, you'll have 13,600 new best friends that you can connect with. I will tell you this, that probably 1 out of 10 to 1 out of 15 of those people are in HR or they're recruiters, because they're trying to find you. So if you're going to join, please try to have your profile as up to date and current as you can. You're also welcome to follow us on Facebook, and you're welcome to subscribe to the Career USA YouTube channel, where this recording will be posted later tonight, as well as a lot of other recordings. We have over 300 recordings on there that you can go back and watch. Okay, so we're going to talk about the four main areas of your job search you really need to focus on. They are resumes, LinkedIn, interviewing, and networking. Resume is the first thing you need to take care of first. Once you have your resume done, then you can work on your LinkedIn profile, because you take the information from your resume. Once you've done, you got to remember that your resume and your LinkedIn profile will not get you a job. It only gets you a phone call. So that's why you need to practice your interviewing skills, and that's why it's number 3 on the list. And then lastly, once you're ready to take those phone calls and you practice some interviewing, then you're ready to start networking. So what I'm going to talk about today is this is just the tip of the iceberg. We could go weeks and weeks and weeks about all the detail, and that's why there's so many videos on the Career USA YouTube channel. That's why We have lots of different speakers talking. That's why we do things different days of the week to talk about different subjects. So just be aware, I'm just going to lightly sort of just cover a few things at the very top of the scale. So first, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. Oops. All right. So, we're going to talk about resumes first. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about resumes. So the first thing is, one of the things I see all the time is people have analysis paralysis. They work on the resume and then they work on it some more, and then they got to work on it some more, and they pass it off to other people. And you can show it to 10 or 12 different people, and you're going to get 15 or 20 different responses. And you show it to them a week or two later, and they're going to say, oh, no, you need to change this. And it could be changing it back to what it was before. So you have to get to a certain point. But when I talk about, analysis paralysis, I think what you should do is create yourself a master resume. A master resume is everything you've ever done since high school. Include jobs in high school if they were pertinent to what you do now. And you have to remember your resume is just a hook. That master resume, 10, 15, 20 pages long. You put down all the details, everything you've ever done, lots of 10, 12, 15 different bullet points underneath each job with your successes. Street address, manager names, exact dates, all the information you'd ever need to fill out an application. But you have to remember your resume is just a hook. Your resume is just going to get you a phone call. You've got to be sure that when you send a resume out, you don't send out that master resume. You save it and you customize the resume you send out. So when you see a job description, you take what's in the job description and you match exactly what's on. You take your resume, eliminate everything that's not on the job description so you can make that match. Be sure to just keep the details in the job description. I'm sure everybody's done a lot of really great things over the years, but if they don't ask about it in the job description, don't put it on your resume. Just not necessary. You want to make sure that every bullet point you have uses a dollar sign, a percent, or a number sign. Results sell. Okay, if your resume reads like a job description and you don't tell me any results, I don't know what you can do for me. I know what you were supposed to do at your last job, but I don't know how successful you were. So please consider every bullet point that you put out that you use it as a result, that you can tell somebody, this is what I can do for you at your company. Like I said, you do not blindly send out a resume because you don't know what they're looking for. Why would you, when you send out a resume, you're screaming, I need a job. I'm looking for a job. Help me find a job. And it's going to go in the trash can most of the time. But if you want to consider a document to send out, I think a one-page bio is an extremely effective tool, because a one-page bio says, here's who I am, and I'm just trying to gather some information and some advice. Do not post your resume on LinkedIn, because once again, you don't know what that 2 or 3 page resume is going to meet the needs of the person looking at it. Your LinkedIn profile should be complete enough to tell somebody, oh, I want to talk to this person. But consider that one-page bio is extremely effective. You can Google one-page bios on Google if you'd like to get more information. When you're dealing with ATS systems, you've got to be careful not to use any special characters or special formatting. Don't use the header or footer sections from Microsoft Word. No tabs. I mean, not tabs are okay, but no tables. And the reason is there's over 100 different types of ATS systems out there. If you're not looking at, you don't know what each system wants. Some systems can handle a hyperlink. Some systems don't handle a hyperlink, and it'll confuse it, and all your email address will be incorrect because the way it sucks it in. So you just got to be very careful to make any resume you upload to an ATS system as plain as possible. And most importantly, you want to ensure that the keywords align to the job description, because that's how an ATS system works. It matches up the keywords from your resume and looks for, it looks for the keywords from the job description and make sure that they're in your resume. One of the things I like to do is play the so what game. I've seen several people's profiles here at the conference that I've been talking with, and I see bullet points, and their bullet points don't have any results. Results sell. So I read a bullet point of somebody's, and I'll go, so what? Okay. If it's reading like a job description, you're telling me what you were supposed to do, but you need to once again sell me on what you do. I also think that every bullet point you have, you need to start out with an action verb. You want to make sure that you've excited the person to read it. Recruiters scan resumes. They don't read them in detail. So, when they're initially, if they have 100 resumes they're going through, and they're going through zip, 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 they're just looking for a reason to throw you out. And if they find one, they go, oh, well, this is sort of interesting. They put it to I'll read it a little bit later pile. And then they take those last 10 or 15 resumes or 20, whatever they have in the read it later pile, and they'll read it in more detail. So if you can start out with an action verb and then a few things on that bullet point, it will draw them in and make them want to read a little bit more. A couple common resume mistakes that we see is spelling and grammatical errors. This is what recruiters are looking for. If they got 100 resumes to go through, what they're going to do is, as soon as they see a spelling mistake, boom, reject. As soon as they see a grammatical error, and that's primarily past tense, where people, they used to work at a company, but they're using a current tense word, which doesn't make any sense. If you used to do it, make sure that all your tenses are correctly. As soon as they see something that's not right, boom, they're out of here. They're going to check your email address. Is your email address professional sounding? ilovekittycats@gmail.com does not count as a professional email address. John Smith PMP would be a decent email address. Try to find something that tells somebody who it is. Which then leads to the second thing. You need to have 2 different email accounts. You have one personal email account for your friends and family and people you can, you've known for years and years and years. You have a second email account just for your job search. You don't just stop checking it once you have a job. You continue to check it once a week, because these are where all your professional contacts are going to be connecting with. Another common mistake is you fail to demonstrate and quantify results. You have got to let somebody know how you can be successful, how you can meet their needs. Very, very important. And then if your format or your design is too elaborate, when you're filling out stuff for an ATS system, it has to be as plain as possible. It's really interesting. My daughter is a UX designer, and when she was laid off from IBM, along with everybody else in her, they laid 25,000 people off, and they just said, okay, if you work in this building, everybody in this building, you're out. And so she's out, and so she created this beautiful resume with triangles and colors and squares, because being a designer, that's what she wanted to do, and had her website match to make everything match. And, of course, kids don't listen to their parents. And, I looked at it and I went, this really isn't going to help you get a job. This is really pretty if you're trying to meet another UX designer, but it's not going to, you can't send this to an ATS system. They won't know what to do with it. Well, luckily of course she didn't listen. But luckily she was offered Right Management. And it was interesting, Right Management told her the same thing. And then she created the generic resume that we pretty much talk about all the time. So, I understand kids don't want to talk to their parents, or listen to their parents, but that's fine. So you don't want anything too elaborate or design or whatever. So one of the things that CareerDFW and Career USA does is on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of the month. So this is the 5th Thursday, but the 1st and 3rd Thursday of every month at 1 o'clock Central Time, we do a effective resume workshop. So if you'd like to join us, you're welcome to join us. Most of them have been recorded. They're on the Career USA YouTube channel if you want to go back and watch any of those. We do it on Facebook Live. So if you just want to watch it on your cell phone, you're able to do it there. But every 1st and 3rd Thursday, we've been doing that for the last 2 years now. So now we're going to talk about LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, here's just some statistics from January off their website. 77 job applications are submitted every second. 10 million people plus use the open to work feature. 45 million people a week use LinkedIn to search for jobs every week. 4 people are hired every minute using LinkedIn. There are 57 million companies listed and 120,000 schools. Now, the reason 120,000 schools is important is because this is how you network with your alumni association, and you network with other people who you went to school with. Even if you're 20 years difference, and you graduated in 1980 and they graduated in 2000. Alumni are alumni. They're willing to make that connection. That's a way for you to expand your connections. So on LinkedIn, does your LinkedIn profile, is it current? Is it up to date? Do you have a current picture? Does your profile tell a company how you can help them? Remember, companies hire employees because they have a problem and they need somebody to solve that problem for them. If you come in with the attitude of, well, what can you do for me, as personally, that's not going to get you a job. But if you go into the job search and you go into a company going, how can I help you? What can I do to solve your problems? What are your biggest problems? That's going to get you the job. So number one, can somebody else reach out to you easily? Common mistake I see all the time, no contact information. Your contact information should be in the about section, and it should be in the contact section. Make sure phone number, email address, make it easy. Recruiters want, if they find your profile, we gotta remember, recruiters have a very short attention span. What they want to do is they want to be able to reach out to you quickly. For them to reach out to you quickly, they're going to pick up the phone. They don't want to sit there and have to type an email out. They definitely don't want to use InMail. That's their third choice. So most importantly, make sure your contact information's in the about section and in your contact information section. You want to make sure that you have a good title underneath your name that explains to somebody what it is you do. So here happens to be, this is a photo from my profile. And one of the things I did, I actually put my name and my email address, and my phone number in my banner photo. So I've been here at this conference in Chicago, and I've been meeting a lot of people, and we go look at their profiles. Well, I'm not connected with them because they're third-degree connections and stuff, but I can find them. But there is no way for me to see their contact information until we connect. But because I have it in my banner, anybody can reach out to me. They can pick up the phone. If you don't have your phone number out there, I understand, especially a lot of women don't like to do that. You can always get a Google Voice number and have that Google Voice number bounce over to your cell phone or whatever number it is you like. But notice underneath my name, I start out with an action verb, accomplished. Pick whatever, just Google action verbs and find something that you'd like to, yeah, this is what I can use. So then I put a couple job titles: manufacturing manager, operation manager, general manager. Now, these are job titles that people would search for. These are job titles that are the default job titles in LinkedIn. You don't want to put down manufacturing management. That's not a job title. That explains what it is you do. That's not a job title. So make sure you have a couple job titles that says what it is you do. I put a little saying on there: better, faster, smarter. That's how I look at things. And then I'm a speaker at career workshops and seminars. So, just want to be able to show somebody that, how do you do this colored background? How do you do a better background at the back? I recommend using Canva, canva.com, canva.com. Just type in LinkedIn banners when you get there. I think it's the second banner. And you're able to create whatever you want. You can put a picture, whatever it is in your field, put something that would draw me in, that tells me what it is you do. All right, you need to have a professional email address, as I mentioned before. No, I love kittycats@gmail.com, and the closest large city state. If you live in Roanoke, or you live in Rowlett, or you live in Wiley, and these are cities around the Dallas-Fort Worth area you see on the map here, you want to list Dallas-Fort Worth, okay? Because some recruiters, they don't put in Rockwall or Heath or Bolt Springs. They're going to put in, I'm looking for somebody who lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can always say, no, I don't want to drive across the Metroplex to get there. but put in the largest big city in your area, because that will help attract people. Now, if you want to move to Seattle, you could put down in Seattle, but you need to have an address there so that if somebody was to reach out to you, they'd be able to, from the zip code wise, be able to find you there. Or, if you have a cousin or a relative or somebody's address, you can just use temporarily. Always send a personal note with a LinkedIn invite. Always, always, always. On our LinkedIn seminars that we do on Tuesdays, we do a LinkedIn pledge. Everybody has to put their right hand up and you have to repeat it. You're always going to send a connection request. When I get these generic invitations like this one right here, I ignore them. I currently have about 70 people who want to connect with me that I've ignored because they didn't send me a reason why we should connect. It's as simple as, I don't like you having the microphone in front of your face, or I wish you were doing this from your home like you usually do, or I don't like, you can't see my tie, you don't like my blue shirt. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that, just send me something, or, just tell me you met me here at this AM, the AMCP conference. Whatever it is, send a personal note, because we're alumni together. We both went to the same school. Go Gophers, go whatever it is. Put something in a personal note. And you can even send a personal note from a cell phone. Okay, so I know a lot of people just use cell phones for LinkedIn. Personally, I don't have the LinkedIn app on my phone. I like using a PC or Mac. I want to have a desktop to make it easy so I can see everything that's going on. But even on, like on this screen here, next to messages, there's a thing that says more, or there's a little hamburger. And if you click on it, for the people here in the room, you can't see that, but underneath this right over here, there's a little thing that says more, and it opens up a screen, and right there you see on the right-hand side, personalized invite. So there's no excuse anymore not to send a personal invitation. You always want to look for the blue connect button. So like when you're searching for people via alumni associations, or you search for recruiters, whatever it is you do, you want to make sure that if you want to connect with somebody, you always want to look for the blue connect button. So a lot of times you'll see, like on the left-hand side, you'll see this white connect button. Never use the white connect button. Very important not to do that, because that sends the generic invitation and you go, oops, too late. So what you can do is you can recall, or you can cancel that request and then send a new one, or go and message the person and say, oops, I made a mistake. I sent you the generic invitation. I hope you'll still connect with me. So what you want to do is you want to look for the blue connect button. And for those people here, you can't see it, but it's right when you go to somebody's personal profile. So in this case, on the left-hand side, if I was looking at Tanya's, that picture, I would click on her face. And when you click on her face, then up comes her profile, which is what's on the left. And I took just a small shot of it. And that then has a blue connect button. When you click on the blue connect button, then you can add a personal note. Don't just click on don't click on the blue connect button, click send. Always add that personal note. Okay, you want to have a complete profile, and to do that, you need to have 5 things. You need to have a few things here. You need to have a current position, a location, an industry, a summary, at least 5 skills in education, and a photo. You want a good-looking photo. You want a photo that shows people what it is, what you look like, and we'll look at a couple of them in just a second. You want a current position. Well, wait a second. If you're unemployed, you don't have a current position. How can you do that? So my recommendation is you create a new job. You say when you were unemployed, when you started to be unemployed, and then you put down a couple job titles that you would be interested in: production manager, general manager, director of operations. Then for the company, you put your email address and your phone number. And then underneath it, where you describe what it is you do, you list 3 or 4 bullet points to tell somebody what it is you do and how you can help them and why they should pick up the phone and call you. Okay, so that gets you a current position. We've talked about location, industry. You have to pick an industry of where it is you want to work at. Your summary statement, very, very important. You have 2,600 characters here, 2,600 characters that you can tell somebody what it is you do and how you can help them. It's always written in first person. That summary statement's now called about. That's the about section. You've got to pick 5 skills. You can have up to 50. I recommend 40, 45. Education and a photo. All right, we talked about photos here. Okay, so here's some good photos, and then, well, there's 2 good photos on here, and the rest of them are not good. So in the upper left-hand corner, he took a screen, he just used his camera to do a selfie. The first 2 photos there, upper right, and the guy in the blue shirt. Too much in the background. The first one's washed out. The third photo of the lady there sitting on a chair, to me, that's too far away. Personally, this is how I use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my personal phone book or my contact book, my little black book that I can, if I don't know who somebody is, I can punch in their name and I can see their photo and go, oh yeah, I met them at a conference, or I met them at the workshop 3 weeks ago, or whatever. When it's that far away, that's unimportant. We don't need to see the whole shot. The one in the upper right-hand corner, that's Gail. Gail him or Gail her? How would you know? Okay, and it happens to be Gail her. The reason she did that photo is because her husband at the time happened to be in Afghanistan serving, and she just wanted it up there. But once again, I told Gail, thank you for this. I will be using this in every presentation I ever give, because this is what you don't do. In the lower left-hand corner, the open to work. So it's fine to use that banner, and we'll talk about it in just a second, but way too far away. I mean, the shots, I want to see somebody sort of up close. The last 2 photos, and black and white photos are okay, as long as it represents who you are. Now, you've got to be really careful. Here's another little thing that most people won't notice, but it bugs the heck out of me. On LinkedIn, your photo is in the upper left-hand corner. A lot of times the photos show people, like if you look in that lower left-hand photo, the guy is facing down and away from the middle of the screen. So like even here at the conference, the AMCP conference, everybody's getting their headshot done. Yesterday, everybody was having their headshot taken so that they would be looking off the screen, not into their LinkedIn profile. So everybody I've talked with, I've told them, hey, you've got to make sure you flip that photo 180 degrees so you're looking in. So the middle photo and the black and white photo you see on the screen, they're both looking in. Their shoulders are turned. They're looking at the screen, but their shoulders are turned into your LinkedIn profile. One of the photographers here did go and flip. He's now taking all the photos the other way here. Okay, you've got to make sure you have a great headline that tells people what you're applying for or what you're looking for. Even if you're currently employed, put down the kind of job titles that you'd be doing. What your current job title is will be down in your experience section, but you can put all the job titles, or 3 or 4 job titles up in that about section. We saw that a little bit earlier. If you're interested in, if you're open to work, use the open to work banner if you're not currently working someplace. Or even if you are working someplace, it's okay for you to be looking. It's not like they'll get real mad and fire you because hey, why are you looking for another job? I was talking to a lady a little bit earlier, and she said that, yeah, my manager's pretty said, you're not going any further here. You've done everything you can do here. If you found something else, that would be okay. So in her case, she's going to put the open to work banner on to let everybody know. If you don't put the open to work banner on and you just click recruiters only, please note that less than 50% of recruiters actually use the LinkedIn package for recruiters. So they would never know that you're open to work. So more than 50% of recruiters just use LinkedIn, like use the free version. They just scan looking for people. They go into groups and they try to find people. So just be aware. And by doing this, you're going to let your contacts know hey, if they happen to see your page, oh, I didn't realize you're open to work. What are you doing right now? In your About section, you want an overview of your career using keywords from your profession. Be sure to include a call to action or your contact information. How can I help your company? Your About section is written in first person. Your experience section, you be sure to use your job title. If you have an unusual job title like Chief People Person or something that people wouldn't understand, put in parentheses what the common job title would be. So make it easy for anybody else to go, oh, just because this company calls it this, well, maybe it's called that at a different company. Now, you worked at a bank, everybody in a bank's a vice president. Well, give us a little more detail to tell us exactly what it is you do. You want to be sure to list if you have any, list your education, if you have any awards, certification, professional development, there's spaces for all that. If you've been publicized or if you have a book, please put that stuff in there. Your skills, you can have, like I said, up to 50 skills. You want to make sure that the top 3 skills are the skills that are seen on LinkedIn. So you can move your skills around and move the top 3 that people look at. Most recruiters are not going to go click and open up to see what your other skills are. This primarily is an area that's used for a search. So when a recruiter is searching for somebody with skill A, B, and C, it'll show up in your skill section. Hopefully the same words are also in your profile, in your experience section, or in your About section, so they show up multiple times. You want to make sure you have a couple current recommendations. 2021, 2022, even 2020 would be okay. I've seen some profiles, their last recommendations was from 2014. That's not going to do it. You want to have something more current and up to date. A couple privacy settings you want to work about. Number 1, you want to make sure you want to turn off people also viewed. I'm sure you looked at other people's profiles on LinkedIn, and over on the right-hand side, there's a column and it says people just like Jeff. Well, why do you want to promote other people just like me? So turn that off so that they're only looking at you. But what you do want to do is turn on and let recruiters know that you're open to new opportunities. Be sure to follow any company that you're interested in or any company that you've applied to. Very important. What you don't see is that on the recruiting package, one of the options they have is, so they've done this search, they have, there's 800 million people on LinkedIn, they've put in a job title, they put in a few skills, they're down to, so they run the search, they have 100 applicants, or they have 100 possible profiles to look at. One of the options they have across the top of the screen is follows this company. And it's of the 100 people that they found in the search, there could be maybe only 14 people who follow the company. Well, quite frankly, they may look at those 14 people first because they go, oh, they already know about what it is we do. So if you're interested, when you find a company, any job that you apply to, always follow that company, because number 1, it'll put some more feeds into your news feed, but also give you a better opportunity if a recruiter is looking at you. You always want to make sure you reply to any LinkedIn email or connection request. Take care of the red. Open up your LinkedIn profile every day, take a look, make sure that you've gotten rid of all the little red dots across the top of it, because you need to be active on LinkedIn. If you're not active on LinkedIn, LinkedIn knows that. So the other day I was looking at the LinkedIn recruiting package. A friend of mine has it and I was able to see it. It says that there's 850 million people on LinkedIn. He can click on a feature that says most likely to respond. It took the number down to 80 million. And then he clicked on the feature open to work and it took him down to 60 million. So as a recruiter, the first thing is they're narrowing that funnel from 800 people down to, they're going to eliminate anybody who's not active on LinkedIn. They're going to let only 1 out of 10 people are active on LinkedIn. So be sure you're active, be sure to reply, because LinkedIn keeps track of all that information. So we do a LinkedIn presentation every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central Time. You're welcome to join us. We're on the CareerDFW Facebook page. We record 3 out of 4. One of the speakers does not allow his presentation to be recorded, but you're welcome to join us any Tuesday or, for a presentation. It lasts about an hour, all about LinkedIn. So let's talk about interviewing now. You've got to be prepared for an interview. Okay, so you've got your LinkedIn profile, you've got your resume done. As I said before, LinkedIn and a resume don't get you a job. Will get you a job. All it does is it gets you a phone call. Your interviewing skills is what gets you a job. So one of the things you've got to do is for every bullet point you have on your resume, you've got to have a story. That's why you need to have results. I say write them down. When you physically write something down on a piece of paper, it locks it better into your memory than sitting there and typing it out on a notepad or via on your computer or anything. What I like to do is to take a note card, an index card, 3x5 or a 4x6 index card. On the very top line, I put down the bullet point, and then down the side of it, I put a big STAR, star. Situation, task, action, result. And I write a couple words down that tell me what the story is. Now, I don't want to write it down word for word, but what I want to do is I want to be able to use this as a memory jog to remind myself, here's my story, here's how to tell it. So then you have this pile of index cards you can sort of sit there and rotate through and think about before an interview, so when you're ready to go. You've got to make sure that your answers, if you're doing a Zoom or a web call or you're doing something on the internet, you want to make sure your answer is between 30 and 45 seconds. If you're meeting somebody in person, 45 to 60 seconds. The reason for that is if you go and tell a 2-minute story and you only have a half-hour interview, you only really get to tell 4 or 5 stories. Okay? Well, you've done more things than that. So by keeping your answer distinct and short, you have a much better opportunity to be able to sell yourself. And at the end of those short answers, you can always say, would you like more detail? Did I answer your question? Have you ever had that issue happen here before? Do something to try to, if you feel it, you don't want to say at the end of every time, did I answer your question? Or, would you like more detail? But, if you've done this huge project and it had 5 major bullet points, you can even say, well, I worked on this project, it was really big. I'm just going to I'm going to go into 2 of the 5 bullet points and quickly go into those 2 to 5 bullet points. And at the end of it, if you'd like to know more, I can go into more detail. And they'll let you know if they want to go into more detail. Be prepared to answer these 3 questions in every interview. Why do you want to work here? I know there's a recruiter, national recruiter, and the question that she asks everybody is, why do you want to work for this company? And if you don't have a good answer, you don't go on to the hiring manager. It's that simple. That's her cutoff right there. The next one is, how much do you make your last job? Well, this is that salary question. You can ask it in some states, you can't in some states. And it's not necessarily what you make at your last job, as what's your salary requirements and stuff like that. So you need to come up and you need to be prepared for that. I always like to use a couple words, fair and equitable. So how I like to frame it is, well, I've done some research, and according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, for this particular job in this area, the salary range is somewhere between $68,000 and $92,000 a year. I'm sure that whatever your company is going to pay will be fair and equitable. Okay, it shows you've done some things. Now make sure that minimum number is your minimum number that you can survive on. If your minimum number isn't 68, it needs to be 72. You change it to 72 no matter what the research says. But just be prepared. You just can't go in, and you need to know this before you even get in to an interview. You got a job description, go figure out what the common salary should be. And then the last question is, why did you leave the last job, or the job before that, or the job before that? I remember I had an interview with a company out of Pittsburgh when I was living in Dallas. They flew, the HR manager and the head of the company was there. And all they did was go through my resume backwards from my last job that I had on the resume. Well, why'd you leave this job? Go to the next one. Why'd you leave this job? Why'd you leave this? Worst interview I ever had, going, man, this is the director of HR, and this is how they interview people. They have a lot to learn, but just be prepared for that. You've got to have questions to ask. I think 10 questions is enough. You know, I mean, you're going to have to ask, if you have multiple interviews, you're going to have to come up with more questions, depending if you're meeting with the same person or other people. The goal is to have 4 or 5 of those questions answered during the interview, if you can. You know, the last 4 or 5 would be if they ask, you know, do you have any questions? So, you know, and hopefully those questions are all pertinent to what it is you do. And then the plus one is, don't forget to ask for the job. If you don't ask for the job, you're not going to get it. So be sure to find out what the next step is going to be. Make sure you express even greater interest in the position. Whatever you said at the very beginning, you know, be sure to let them know, I am very interested in doing this job, you know, and why they, you know, that you want to be advanced to the next step. Or even ask for the job if you feel things are going really well. Said, you know, I think we've really clicked here. One of the questions at the very end that I love to ask, and it's worded this way: how do I compare to the ideal candidate? Not how do I compare to the other candidates. I don't care how the other candidates are. In their mind, they have an ideal candidate. How do I compare to that ideal candidate? They may go and say, well, you know, I don't think they have enough XYZ experience. That didn't come up in the interview. I have plenty of XYZ experience. We just never talked about it. So here's an opportunity for you to answer any hesitance they may have. Oops. So there is a great way to practice your interviewing skills. It's called the Dallas Interview Team, the Dallas Practice Interview Team, the PIC crew. It's totally free. They meet Tuesdays at 5, Wednesdays at 1, or Thursdays at 3 p.m. All you need to do is send a resume and a job description to dallaspiccrew@gmail.com, or you can go to www.dallaspiccrew.com, get more information. And you send the resume in, tell them what times you're available, and they will schedule an interview with you. They're doing 3 or 4 interviews every week. It'll be a panel interview. They have over 30 people who do interviews. I've done 130 or 140 interviews over the last several years. But I only do interviews for people who, jobs that I'm interested in, the jobs that I know about. I would never do a CEO kind of position, because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not a accounting major. I would not be able to ask accounting questions. But if you're in manufacturing operations, I would be on your panel. So these 30 people who are glad to come interview you, they get your information. They say, yeah, I'll jump in on this interview. They'll prepare, and they go look at the company's website. They look at the job description. They look at your resume, and they will give you a hard-hitting interview. One of the things a practice interview team says is practice early, practice often. You don't have to have a current job. Just find a job description that you're interested in and send that in along with a resume and practice that. They say that you really need to practice 4 or 5 times to really be comfortable with what it is you do. So one of the things new for 2022 is you can now watch an interview online. It's only on Zoom. We don't do these on Facebook because we don't want it to be recorded. It's only recorded for the candidate. But you can watch an actual practice interview. We do these every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So you're welcome to join us anytime. And you learn things. Listen, all the interviews I've done just as an interviewer, I've learned things and go, wow, that was just great the way that person said that. So you will learn things by just watching other people be interviewed. Every Wednesday, 1 o'clock. Before we started doing this in 2022, in 2020 and 2021, when COVID hit and we couldn't meet in person anymore, I asked 2 different people to put together a workshop about interviewing. Well, they put their heads together and they came back with this 13-part workshop. It's a lot of information. It's about 20 hours of information total. It's broken down like this. The first 5 sessions are all about preparing for an interview. You know, what are star stories? How to analyze a job description? What do you do if you only have a limited time? Like they call you up today and they want to schedule an interview for 8 o'clock in the morning. What do you do in that short case? So there's all these informations of what to do before the interview. The next 5 sessions are all what you do during the interview, how to open the interview, how to close, and how to follow up, how to discuss the compensation issue, how do you answer how wide you left your last job, demonstrating enthusiasm, asking questions. So all that's in the middle 5. And then the last 3 are just some advanced topics about interviewing that you can watch at your leisure. All of these are on the Career USA YouTube channel. All right, we'll talk about networking, and then we will wrap up here pretty quick. Don't spend all day in front of a computer looking for a job. Only 5 to 10% of jobs are found online. 10 to 15% of jobs are found using Recruiter. Most jobs are found networking. Most jobs are not advertised. Okay, it's a good opportunity that if you network your way into a company and they find out what it is you do and they go, you know, well, we have something budgeted for 4th quarter, but I know we just started 2nd quarter. I think we could rearrange some things and maybe get you hired now and get you jumped in doing this now. So network in, that's how you're going to find your next job. If you're referred into a company, you have a 50% chance of getting an interview. Doesn't mean you're going to get a job, but at least get an interview. If you only apply online, you have less than a 2% chance of getting called. And you're only going to get called if your keywords match their keywords and you just get lucky with the ATS system. You want to be sure to reach out to everybody you know. Very, very important. They need to know you're looking for a job, and you want to be able to let them know what it is you do. So here's a great way to do this. I say you send an email out every 3 weeks, and your email is pretty short. First of all, everybody, you may send out 2. You have one you send to your friends, family, and church members or whatever. The other email goes to your professional contacts. If you want to make it all one email, it's up to you. But you send out an email every 3 weeks, and you make sure it's the same time every 3 weeks and prepare it. You send them all out blind copy, BCC, so nobody knows who else is on the email, okay? And that way, if they reply to you, it only comes back to you and it doesn't go back to everybody else on the list. So the first paragraph says, I want to thank the following people. I want to thank Sue, Mary, Joe for helping me over the last couple of weeks with their great suggestions. The next paragraph, the second paragraph is, as a reminder, I'm looking for a position as XYZ. The third paragraph is, if you know anybody who works at the following companies, please let me know. I'm looking for their advice and counsel. And you list 3 or 4 target companies. You can't just say, I'm looking for somebody who works in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's not going to help. Don't give me a geographic area. Tell me a specific company that I could go, oh, wait, my Uncle Joe works at that company. I can, I'll contact him and see. And then the very last paragraph is, if there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to reach out. So what you've done is, this is a great way to reach out to all your contacts. Now you can also add at the very beginning, happy St. Patty's Day, happy New Year's, happy holidays coming up, hope you have a happy Easter, whatever it is, if you want to give a little personalization to it. But keep it short, keep it simple. By doing these, writing this out every 3 weeks, as a salesperson, salespeople know that it takes 4 to 7 touches before you're going to be remembered by somebody. So the first week you do this, you may not hear back from anybody. The second week, you may be here from 1 or 2 people. The third or fourth or the fifth time you've sent this out, it sticks with people, and they go, oh, well, look at all these people who are helping Jeff, even if nobody helped me, but they don't know that because they don't know who else you sent this email to. It's just a way to, you'll start to see some results after several times of doing this. So we do a networking seminar on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of the month, 1 o'clock Central Time. Resumes on the 1st and 3rd Thursday, networking on the 2nd and 4th Thursday. You're welcome to join us. We have a lot of different resume experts. These are all people who have presented on networking or will be presenting on networking. So there's a lot of people here. I'll get out of the picture here so you can see, but there's a whole bunch of people that talk about networking. Networking is basically the same thing. It's reaching out to other people, but everybody has a little bit different process. And hopefully one of these processes will help you be able to reach out. For those of you who are here at the AMCP conference, here's your networking opportunities. You want to network with everybody who's here. When you leave here, by the end of this conference, you should be networked with, 3,000 brand new people who you've never met before. Okay, a couple bonus things and we'll wrap up. Please visit the Career USA YouTube channel. We have over 290 now. It's over 300 different workshops that are recorded. When you go to the Career USA YouTube channel, it looks something like this. Click on playlist. Every video that I post will go into a different playlist. And then when you click on that, it'll open up the following. There's 7 different lists there: networking, North Dallas, Plano career focus group speakers, LinkedIn, resumes, interviewing. Click on the one you want. Don't click on the video, but down where you see that purple arrow which says view full playlist, click on that one. This particular presentation will go into CareerDFW and Career USA and Career Tips. It'll go in this playlist right here. Once you click on that, then will come a listing and you can scroll down and find whatever seminar you'd like to go back and watch. Another little tip: if you're not early, you're late. 5 minutes early is on time is late. I'm just a firm believer in that. I know there are a lot of people, those people who came to my Friday meeting, the people who are on time, ready to go, I would highly recommend. The people who showed up 15, 20, or 30 minutes late to my meetings, it's like, if they don't value the time, I'm not gonna, they're not referrals that I would make to somebody. You want to make sure that your emails always have a signature line and have all of your details. This is very, very important. I get emails all the time. Jeff, give me a call. Bob. Bob who? How am I supposed to know who I'm supposed to call? I know a bunch of Bobs. Okay, so every email I send, even if I reply back to somebody, I put down who I am, how to reach out to me, my email address is in the signature line, my LinkedIn profile in case, who's this Jeff guy? They can click on that and go, oh yeah, Jeff, I saw him speaking at the conference, or whoever. And then I'm always promoting my websites at the very bottom. Do this on your Mac or your PC, but also do it on your cell phone. So whatever email accounts you're using, that you're able to send a reply so people are able to know how to reach out to you. Make sure your display name tells people who you are. That first display name, WSU Cougar 96. And I thought about it and went, well, I've had some Cougars who've come to my networking meeting on Friday mornings, but I don't think they were 96 years old. WSU, and this was several years ago during March Madness, Washington State University, and they were playing in March Madness, and they happened to be the Cougars. And I went, that's where that's from. So she must have graduated in 1996. So this is Barbara's email account, and I've told Barbara this is another one of those jewels that I'm going to share forever and ever and ever. Mike Gmail, that's not his last name, but he got a new device, and it just defaulted in Gmail as his last name. So just beware of what you're sending out. CareerDFW, Career USA, 2 websites are there to help anybody. If any information you need, all this information is on here. Right in the very middle, there's a place there for career talks. I have a career tip of the week on there. Lots and lots of resources. So Career USA, CareerDFW, if they can help you, please do so. You're welcome to join the CareerDFW and Career USA LinkedIn groups. Follow us on Facebook on the CareerDFW page and subscribe to our Career USA YouTube channel. If you'd like to join our mailing list, you can send an email to CareerUSA, the + subscribe at groups.io. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get is a title of the day. You'll get an email every day with the title of the day, the topic of the day, and most importantly, you'll get the Zoom link of the day. That way you can just click on the Zoom link and join our Zoom calls every day. So if your group's looking for a speaker, please feel free to reach out to me. There's my email address, one of my email addresses. And if you'd like to get the book is on Amazon. All the proceeds from the book go to support CareerDFW. I don't make anything off of it. I do this to help everybody else. So let me check the chat feature here and see if there were any questions anybody had. Let's see here. Contact. Anybody, if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to. Oh, here we go. Coy asked, how best to become a LinkedIn champion, if you will, from an inactive user. Okay, so how do you become a LinkedIn pro, or a better LinkedIn person? I would suggest the way you do that is becoming active. Okay, that means every day you go on LinkedIn, 15 minutes a day is all you need. Go through and like 3 to 5 posts that somebody else has posted. Go share somebody else's comments. You like this, and share it to your network. And once a week, go and post something that you found outside of LinkedIn and bring an article into LinkedIn and tell people, hey, I found this article. This was really, really interesting. I know, here's what I found interesting about it. Okay. That will help you getting you active. Responding to any LinkedIn request, even if you're not interested in joining, just say, thank you very much, or no. Be sure to answer any messages. It will show that you're active. 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes most. If you're on LinkedIn more than 30 minutes, you're doing some research, trying to find recruiters, trying to find people inside a company. But that basic starting time, that's all you need to be able to do that. Anybody else? Any other questions? If you've got them, I need to put them in the chat box because I won't be able to hear you where I'm at today. Anybody else? All right, let me share a few screens here and we will get out of here today. All right, so just as a reminder, we're putting on training 4 days a week for CareerDFW and Career USA. Please join us tomorrow morning at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting at 9:30 in the morning. We will have open forum. The first Friday of every month, we talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. You bring your job search questions, and everybody on the call is willing. We're all experts. We've been doing this. We know what's going on. You're welcome to offer your suggestions back to everybody. Next Tuesday, our LinkedIn presentation at 1 o'clock Central will be with Locke Alderson talking about how to use LinkedIn for job hunting, strategies to get results. Next Wednesday, you can watch an actual practice interview next Wednesday at 1. It will only be on Zoom. And then next Thursday, we'll be doing our effective resume seminar, being the first Thursday of the month. Every session, we have an expert who will share their thoughts on effective resumes. You're welcome to join the CareerDFW and Career USA LinkedIn groups, as we've mentioned before. As a reminder, this session was recorded. It will be on the CareerDFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. It'll take me a couple hours before it gets uploaded to YouTube, but we'll get it up there this afternoon. If you follow us on Facebook, every time we're live on Facebook, your phone will give you a little buzz. Every time, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, every time we post a new video, you'll be able to go back and watch it. You can watch it at your leisure. You can stop, pause it, take screenshots, whatever it is you'd like to do. On the Career USA YouTube channel, it looks something like this. Click on playlist, and at the very bottom, then select whichever list you'd like to look at. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops, you're welcome to join the Career USA mailing list. I think I already mentioned this. Just send an email to Career USA, the +sign subscribe at groups.io. Please remember, CareerDFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. Everything I've done over the last 13 years has been as a volunteer just to help you land your next great opportunity. So please consider making a donation when you get your next job. We'd really appreciate it so we can continue to provide the services that we're providing. So thank you very much for joining us online, everybody on Facebook and on Zoom. For those people sitting here, when we turn this off, I'll answer any questions anybody has here locally. So thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.